Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Live here. And in yesterday's Direct, or whenever this video comes out, Square Enix announced a new game in kind of the same art style as Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, and also the Dragon Quest remakes. It is The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. And I'm not here alone to talk about it because, well, talk about it, what am I talking about? Well, they announced a demo, which I have played quite a lot of. I've actually done everything you can in it. But I thought I'd invite in a really expert on the subject, a big Octopath fan since Alex. Well, we know his stance on the art style and Sion has not played the games. Paul, welcome to the studio. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Felix, especially after the end of yesterday's Partner Direct. Definitely wasn't expected. Doubly wasn't expected to get two HD-2D titles right at the end. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. I was jumping for joy at the end of that.
I was really stoked as well, especially for the Elliot game. I just thought, wow, they're trying something new with the art style. It's a lot more open. It's a lot more bold in its way of presenting. And, well, there's also a demo. I mean, the game doesn't come out until 2026, at least that's what they've said. And the demo is, well, how much of the demo have you played, Paul?
So I've played through the whole of the demo, start to finish. Like you, I've explored everything that there is to explore. I didn't do necessarily that all the way through to getting to the end of the demo, so I reloaded the save, went back and found a couple other things that I really should have found much earlier, to be honest. I think a lot of people will just sort of try and motor through it, but it's really worth exploring stuff, taking your time.
I've played through it 2 times because there's 2 difficulty modes. I played through it in normal, and then I played through it again in hard. Now, the question we are here to answer is this the best HD-2D? Like, is this the way to go? Are they perfecting the formula? And also, I don't know if you noticed, Paul, you probably did, this is like a 2D Zelda game.
Yes.
This is Square Enix trying, it has dungeons, it has different abilities, you get new weapons. I know this is not like a characteristic just of Zelda to get new weapons, but the whole way this is laid out, you have this overworld, there's no, it's an action RPG. You just go around and slash enemies, have a bow, have some bombs, see a crack in the wall, throw a bomb at it. And yeah, the dungeons are a bit, well, hard to navigate around in. You have to look at the different layers and stuff. And also the different mechanics, like you only have 2 kind of item slots and you have to switch them out, kind of like in Link's Awakening. So I saw a lot of parallels and a lot of it worked really well. I played, so I said I played through it 2 times. I think I got 3.5 hours out of it. And so that is like the maximum if you wanted to try both difficulty options, because I played through it in normal and I thought, wow, this is a bit too easy. Like, all the enemies just kind of die very easily. I did also kind of play through it just to see how long it was. I was like, okay, I'll see how long it is and then I can go back and do more stuff. And then, well, it isn't that long if you just do that, but there's a lot of side stuff that you can do. There's an optional dungeon. There is there's these kind of shrines, which is really cool. 2 of them are insanely easy and are kind of just there to show you, oh, here's some arrows, dodge them, and you can kind of just go, you don't even need to use your shield that much. They don't do that much damage. And then another one is use one of the fairy abilities to run over these, when you go over them, the platforms destroy. The third one, though, I thought was quite good. It was like a big 3 different layers of a lot of different enemies, and in hard, well, it was harder. So yeah, what do you think of this game? Is it living up to your expectations? This new like art, the art style isn't new, but the way it's presented is.
So, going back to the very start there. Obviously,
Yeah,
this is a whole new. This is a whole new direction for the HD-2D. It's not a genre so much, but it feels like it's becoming one.
Yeah.
Where everything has been not strictly JRPGs, because Triangle Strategy is obviously a strategy RPG.
Yes.
But it's all been turn-based stuff. And So, we're now exploring a bold new direction, and as you stated, it's lifting heavily from your 2D Zeldas, which, anything in the action genre in a 2D setting is going to. It's, been the standard for 30 years. But it is a unique spin on the genre, because the approach to the dungeons is different to how you do it in a Zelda game. In a Zelda game, traditionally, you will find a specific item in the dungeon after fighting a mini boss, and that will help you progress with that specific dungeon, and then also in the wider world. In Elliot so far, obviously this is just a demo, it's not indicative necessarily of the whole experience, but you don't need any specific items that you don't come into the dungeons already.
No, there is, for example, the desert dungeon, where if you manage to beat that, there's, I would say the boss fights are actually really, really good. I was quite impressed by the two boss fights, big boss fights that I got to do. And when you beat the desert temple, well, you get a new weapon. So instead of getting that weapon and using it in the temple, you kind of get that as a reward for completing the temple, which personally I thought that was totally fine. Now, admittedly, I've not played as much 2D Zelda. I've played a little bit of Link's Awakening. I've played Echoes of Wisdom. Paul, how much 2D Zelda have you played?
So, a little bit more than that. I've dabbled in virtually all of them except, I think, Minish Cap. Not necessarily all the way to completion, just because Zelda games get a bit hard towards the end sometimes, a bit obtuse with trying to figure out where you're going to go.
You say that having beat Octopath Traveler, which, the final boss is a bit of a pain, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how much fun I was having with that. It pushed me all the way through. And also, there's a lot more character story, and especially in Octopath 2, that really endears the characters towards you.
Yeah.
That makes you want to see the ending. Whereas I know it's controversial, but I think my favorite 2D Zeldas are the ones on the DS. Your Phantom Hourglass and in particular Spirit Tracks. I know, really not popular choices, but just love the themes and the presentation, which is probably similar to what's drawing me into the likes of Elliot here. It's it's not reinventing the wheel in terms of the gameplay, but it looks how I'd like things to look. It's nice.
Let's talk about the visuals, because wow, this game is gorgeous. Also just how it runs. So this is only a Switch 2 game. Probably should have specified that earlier, but you cannot play this on Switch 1. Just runs flawlessly, looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks like there's different graphic settings which you can't adjust in this demo, but this one is targeting performance and not graphics. So I don't know how much better it would look in graphics, but I'll take the frame rate any second of the day.
I mean, if they can turn up the graphics, I don't see how much better it could possibly look than it currently does.
It looks really, really good, and I love the openness of how everything feels. I've seen some people say that the camera is too far out. Personally, I didn't think that was an issue. I thought it looked really, really nice. It also has this kind of Animal Crossing cylinder, which I thought was really fun. So yeah, the world kind of bends the more you look at it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And also, you're in the town, and then you just go out in the open world, and there's no loading screens. It just seamlessly goes out, and that was really, really cool. It's nice to see what they can do with a bit more power, because there was quite a lot of loading screens in Octopath. I feel, at least. Not as much when you're in the city. There's some very small loading screens when you, for example, go down a stair and stuff like that. And that's actually a thing I want to highlight, which I think is really, really cool how this game does it. I've not seen it in any other games, is that, in some games you might go up a stair, and then you come out the door, and then you have to go up or down again, but sometimes you'll keep going up, but you come out, you have to go down, so you just go through the stair again and go down again. But in this game, it has a little animation which shows Elliot going up the stairs, and then depending on where you come out, it shows where you get out. So if you're coming out to the side, it will show you going to the side in the end. So you always know which direction you're facing. And I think that's a really nice quality of life feature, which I didn't know I needed, but now I never want to not see it in those types of games.
And the thing is, it's really subtle as well, because it's not the type of thing you'll necessarily overtly notice. But now that Felix has said it, you give this demo a go, you'll see that and you'll be like, yes, that is... I don't know I needed that, but yes, why is no one else doing this? Why is this not the standard now? And now it will have to be, or else we'll get YouTube videos of people going, why is this not the standard?
The music, I mean, smashing it out of the park as always. A neat little detail I noticed when actually capturing some music for the background music of this video is that when you go into the menus, stuff like the lead instruments, like the flute that's playing and stuff, fades away. And I didn't notice that until I actually went back and forth and was like, wait, I've just been listening to this music and the flute has not kicked in for the last like 2 minutes, what's going on? And I go back into the overwheel and it's playing. So I just turned down, I mean, it has audio sliders, so you can just only have the music, which is really nice. And yeah, a really nice variety. The only track I didn't really like was going into caves. It's a departure from the other tracks. It's fine, but the other tracks are just, it's so high quality, just like the other Octopath Traveler games. It's one of my favorite aspects of the games is the music.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really looking forward to as well. We have snippets in the trailer of various other environments and stuff like that. Particularly, I think there was a volcano that showed for a brief second that Elliot's running through. I can't wait to hear the type of music that you're going to have in those sorts of environments, especially if they, if they bring the same level that they've done to Octopath 2 in particular, we're going to be in for a real audio treat here.
Oh yes, definitely. One segue into a thing that I'm not the biggest fan of. Speaking of audio, let's talk about the fairy and its voice lines. And so, like in a Zelda game, like in Ocarina of Time, you have a fairy as a companion, or like metaphor for that instance. It's a trope that I wish would just die, because I am sick of this fairy. You can't just turn off, you have to turn off all the like voice volume to get her to shut up, because you can't do that, and she's always going like, ooh, a treasure chest, oh kitty. I mean, it's fine in the start, but it just gets a bit much when you've seen the 5th treasure chest, and she goes like, it's the most amazing thing in the world. Did the fairy annoy you, Paul?
Honestly, I thought she would annoy me more than she ended up doing. I immediately, everyone's got that little bit of PTSD from from the overly aggressive speaking from fairy companions in various games.
Yeah.
Especially when the voice acting direction is normally quite high pitched. And I thought, right, okay, this could be a slog. And to be honest, I think I very quickly tuned it out, like mentally. I think
it didn't help that I was playing through it twice, right? So I got to hear all the same voice lines again.
Right, but like if it's not going to be a short game, you're going to hear these things for 50, 60 hours, something like that.
Yes. So a toggle would be nice. Just it's fine it's there because the fairy does have some like gameplay. It's not just a companion telling you, oh, you can go here, you can go there, which that part is quite nice. Now, admittedly, all my quote-unquote issues come with this game are the fairy, because also the fairy abilities. So the fairy gives you 2 abilities. One of them is you can go super fast, like way too fast. You'll just, it's really satisfying once you get the hang of it a little bit, but it feels like that needs to be adjusted a little bit, because it feels like I'm bonking into walls left and right all the time, because it's so quickly.
So the shrine where you have to use that ability, there's 2 paths you can take in the second half of it, and you will fall off repeatedly, whichever one you try to do.
Yeah, it is fun. It feels. It just needs to be a little bit slower, because that is kind of like your run ability, but it's not run. You're like 10 times the speed of Usain Bolt. It is absolutely insane.
It's more like ice skating as well because it feels slippery.
Yeah, totally.
You don't have full control because it's like she's just grabbed onto Elliot and gone, let's go, whee!
And the other ability is to warp. So you control the fairy with the right stick, which that part actually works quite good. I forget that I can do that most of the time because you can use the fairy to grab items and currency laying out and about. But you can also use to warp. Now, the ability of warp is really cool. You can use it in bosses to kind of warp past like enemy attacks and that sort of stuff. My issue with it is the cooldown. So, for example, you'll be in a cave and you need to warp 3 times. Well, warping takes out half of the mana slot. So you'll warp to one place, then you'll warp to the next, and then you want to warp the last part and you can't. And it's just, I'm out of mana, and then you can't just stand there waiting. And then you warp again, and then, yeah, it's fine, but it takes quite a while for it to recharge, which it just found myself being frustrated, like, why can't I just warp a little bit more? Make it kind of like the Dash, where it has like 4 stages instead of just 2.
So I completely agree on that. And I think the problem there is that they're trying to balance between navigation of the world with using warp and using it in battle.
Yeah.
Because if you can use warp if you can spam that in battle, you're going to just completely nuke everything. It's really fun and satisfying when you pull that off, but like when you start, dashing around behind enemies. I do think that's going to be a really fun way of using the fairy as co-op.
Yeah.
Is to try and sync up some really cool battle strategies. But then, like you say, the flip side of that is in the overworld, you just sat there waiting, going, "Okay, Faye, let's go." Like, you're just leaving me here in the middle of a bunch of rocks.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much they can do to tweak that, but it's definitely something that leaves you feeling frustrated. Just like, why can't I just...
Yeah, they could have like a cooldown in battle and then in the overworld. Of course, you also have battling in the overworld. So yeah, like you said, maybe there's no good solution. Maybe just make it a little bit quicker. I'm not sure. And also, I wish it were easier. Right now, I'm just nitpicking a little bit because I'll give my overall thoughts, and overall, I'm really, really impressed with this game. But a little change. So this is a demo, and they've asked for feedback. So if you're playing this and you have some feedback, there's a survey, which I'll leave a link to down below. All the complaints, big word, that I'm giving right now. Well, I've left a little survey, just letting know my thoughts, because it's really cool that they're doing this demo and then asking for feedback so they can go and improve on this thing, because the building blocks, the base of the game is really good. It's just, there's some small things that I think could need some tweaking. Like, for example, switching out the fairy abilities. I wish you could just press a button, kind of like in Donkey Kong Bonanza, actually. You can just switch between the different bonanzas with arrows. You have to go into this sub-menu, and then you have to go to the right, and then you can select it. It's the same with selecting a bow and a bomb. I don't like that I have to go into a sub-menu and change them out. I wish I could just assign different buttons. So the bomb is on this button, the arrow is on that button, the sword is on there, because I will always have the sword. The sword is so good. I really like having the sword. So I'm just constantly switching between bombs and arrows, and I just thought that was just a little bit tedious. That was all.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think the demo does a great job of explaining that that's what you need to do. I sat there for ages the first time I needed to warp, trying to figure out, okay, I know from the trailer that there's this ability, and I can see that there's 2 abilities there, and I'm expecting, based on how most games run, it's going to be assigned to a different button, maybe tapping left on the D-pad to switch between them, because as far as I'm aware, left on the D-pad isn't assigned to anything yet, whereas up, down, and right. Yeah,
the D-pad is right now just assigned to different fairy actions, which I found myself using never. You can put the fairy away, which I thought, oh, that's great, then she'll stop talking, but she still talks. It doesn't change anything.
She's in your pocket. She's just like, let me out, Felix, let me out.
But then you can also have her go ahead.
There's a treasure chest.
So yeah, I think the D-pad could... I mean, it has great customization, so you can change the different buttons to what you like. But as far as I'm aware, I'll have to double check. I'll add a little edit. If you don't see anything, it's because you can't assign like changing fairy abilities to the different things.
And I would suspect that's probably, if you can't change it, it will be due to the fact that there's stuff still to come in the game that will be assigned to that button.
Yeah,
So
probably.
because I mean, for example, in the demo, there's only 4 weapon types, and I think in the trailer they explicitly said there would be 8 different ones in the game.
Okay. Yeah.
So
there was a really cool. What is it called? Like pickaxe.
the chain scythe.
The chain scythe. That was really cool. I didn't find myself using it that much because the sword seems really OP compared to that. It is really cool. I at one point had that weapon, which I already forgot the name of, and the sword, so you can use it to kind of pull people in and then use the sword to hack them down, which that was quite cool to combo one blow.
As soon as I got the chain scythe, I pretty much used that exclusively, aside from when anything, because it allows you to clear out enemies from afar while you're just swinging it with its charge. And then I also unlocked an ability that spits fireballs out while you're doing that, so you were protected on the.
Oh wow!
Yes, the magicite.
Yeah, we have to talk about the magicite system. I think it's really cool. So you get these different fragments that you can go into the city and like exchange them for example, a sword like power up or a bomb power up. The different weapons can get different power ups. You can exchange for 1 or you can exchange for 10. No in between, which sometimes are like, oh, I want to do 5, so I have to do 1 5 times. But I think the system works really well. You kind of just take the power-ups, put them in a suitcase, and then, your sword is a bit more powerful. You can, when you hit, one that I really liked is that when you hit an enemy with the arrow, then it kind of splits off into another enemy. Which, I was just using the arrow a lot. One thing I really want to quickly just touch on is how satisfying this game is to play. Everything just feels really fun. Like, I just really want to go out and explore. This world exploration is fantastic. And just hitting barrels left and right. There's so many barrels, and I love hitting them. And what do you think of this was it magnesite? I'm not good with words.
So the magicite system, this was something that I didn't really explore until after I'd done most of the demo, because I just zipped out of the castle town. Didn't bother going to the shops because I thought, well, I'm not going to need to buy any potions or anything. What a fool I was. But then, like you say, you go in there and you do find magicite in the overworld as well, in treasure chests and stuff like that. It's not just from the gacha system in the shop. Although to be fair, I was getting them and I was like, okay, how do I equip these? Normally in games you get a new thing, it's like, would you like to try and equip it? At least the first couple of times. And once again, it's in that sub-menu of a sub-menu. You're not really signposted towards it, but once you get there, you've got the ability to set, I think it's 8 different loadouts of these magicites. You can have dedicated versions for if you just want, I want to use all the sword ones I've got, so I have a super powerful sword, great. And then you can have one that's also dedicated for your bow, and so when you can go into that sub-menu and you can switch between which one you're currently using, which is
really,
it's clunky, because
I did not see that when I was playing. Well, that's cool. So you're saying it's different loadouts, so you can kind of just switch them out. I was just picking and choosing. So whenever I chose a new weapon, I had to go in and I had to take all the ones of the bomb out and put all the ones off the arrow.
Which is what you would expect normally, right? You'd normally expect this is my equipment. This is what I'm wandering out with. And I think what people will mostly do in the game, when it fully comes out, is you'll have one sort of general set that covers you for, right, I want, my sword to do double strikes and have the wide range and stuff like that. And then the secondary weapon, I need something on that as well. Yeah. But what you can do is you can have different. I think the reason there's 8 is, theoretically, so you could have one dedicated setup for each of the weapons in the game.
Okay. And that's really cool.
And then swap on the fly. Say you're in a boss fight, you're like, right, I need to power up my sword, because it's stabby time. switch to that again. It's really quite clunky because you've got to tap ZR to bring up the quick menu, and then tab along. And I think it's like the 5th tab, something like that, like really far along.
I'm gonna take a look right now, just while we are talking, because I'm really intrigued to see this.
And yeah, so in theory, if there could be a shorter cut version of like, when it's like, right, I'm using my sword, use this magicite loadout. If I'm using my arrows, I want this, rather than basically pausing the game, going in, finding it all.
Oh my god. Yeah, I am seeing the different sets now. Completely missed that. That is very helpful. Thanks for that, Paul.
See, now you've got to go play through it a 3rd time on hard mode, so you can have your 2 dedicated versions to make the boss fights even easier. Although, to be fair, I did struggle with them, like trying to figure out what's the gimmick here, for a while, just banging my head into a bit of a brick wall, because the one in the desert was just like, okay. I kept wandering into the missiles, like thinking, right, okay, I need to hit these back at him. I've played way too much Sonic 2. So Sonic 3 is the one where you hit the missiles into the aggro bow at the end. And the solution was much simpler than that, but it's just it until it stares you in the face and you go, then you're basically getting yourself killed repeatedly. Did you get any game overs?
I did. I got plenty of game overs. The part where I got most game overs was, I think I got 1 game over when I was playing on just normal. The game was quite easy there, but it was in the boss and I had not prepped properly. But on hard, there's this section where you go to the boss of the Desert Temple, and there's a lot of these mouse who have these bombs which will trigger, and there's like different sand which will put you. And I was kind of just trying to push through that, but I wasn't very prepped up. Again, I didn't have a lot of life, and I'd used all my potions and all that stuff, so I just kept going all the way in there and then dying there. And then finally I got past, and then I just got wrecked by the boss, and there's no checkpoint there. So I left, actually, which is really nice. You can kind of leave even though you find a key. I just left, went off, did some other stuff, came back, powered up, and then that did really good. Talking about the game overs, is actually a thing I hope they improve on as well, is that the game is too easy that you can just die and then resurrect, essentially, by paying money. So in normal, this is actually extremely cheap. It's like 20 money, right?
Yes, which was what I was going to bring up. It's actually easier and cheaper. It's more efficient to just bludgeon your way headfirst through everything and get the money
potions.
Drops.
Yeah.
And then if you die, you just pay for it.
Yeah, in hard, they've actually upped the amount to 100. So it's a bit more costly to revive, but still, I was at a boss fight. I died 4 times in this boss, but since I had 400 going into it, I could just revive 4 times. So that felt extremely overpowered. I feel like either it should get more and more expensive from each death, so you can technically do it, or they should just have a much higher amount. Oh, I don't know. It kind of took the fun out of it, like that challenge, because on hard, so this world is filled with monsters, and people say, oh, it's so dangerous. And on hard, it actually felt like that. It felt like, oh, the enemies take a lot more hits before they die, and you also take a lot more damage. So I personally thought that hard was the way to go. But yeah, I think overall, I'm really, really impressed with this game. I think I have shared some feedback, but that's because, it's a demo, and of course they've not finalized everything. But this game is extremely fun. Like, as soon as I sat down and played it through it once, I was like, no, I want to play through this again. On hard, I want to explore more. And then I did that, and I just sat uninterrupted for 2.5 hours or something like that, just playing through it and really doing everything. And I didn't want to put this game down, even though there wasn't really that much story. There wasn't that much like why. I wish there was a bit more story thing with the fairy and Elliot, and like what's going on. I think you kind of just put into it. I hope that the game is not. I hope that it wasn't the start of the game, essentially, just like that. But the game is super pretty. The music is top notch. The gameplay is also really, really fun. The exploration and everything. I think they have a really nice formula, and it's just super smooth. And a new thing like character portraits. They are animated when they talk in cutscenes. That was really cool, I think. And I got to the end of the demo when they add this. Well, I won't spoil it if you want to play the demo. But you get to a point in the demo where it's like, oh, I'm so stoked for this. Let's see it. And then the demo is like, no, we have to wait like a year.
To be
or something.
continued.
Yeah, that was. But that's just a sign that I really, really enjoyed the game and that it was really, really fun. And it's one of the best games I've played this year. It's really, really good.
Yeah, touching on the visuals very quickly again. Did you take your time to just wander through the waters in the swamp area?
Oh yes,
because that is some of the most beautiful like water work I've seen in any.
It's kind of like when what's it called in English? Gas oil, benzene. I don't know. The thing that goes in cars when that gets into water, it has this kind of rainbow effect. That was the same effect that they had then. They really nailed it.
Yeah, but also like when Elliot wanders through it, you get this incredible ripple effect around.
Yeah.
It's just like the attention to detail in like every aspect of this.
Yeah, the presentation, not just of the world, like the woods and everything, but also just the menus. Everything is top class. It feels like there's, like you say, so much attention to detail. There's some small things, like when you go into the map, press the map button and then want to go out, you have to go out twice. Hopefully they just iron out those things, because really this is, I'm buying this and I'm playing this and I cannot wait for the full release. But what do you think, Paul, of this, of your time with it? Are you as impressed with the game as me?
So I don't know if I'm as impressed as you are, because that's difficult to gauge because you're quite impressed. I am more impressed with the results of them trying something different, given this is a team that's been working like almost exclusively on like RPGs for however many years, and to take all the visual, the audio stuff, that's all well and good, because they know what they're doing with that, and every iteration of an HD-2D game, they come out with something even better on that side each time.
It is really, really cool, like just how good this game looked compared, for example, to Octopath Traveler. And just, you would think they would struggle with the change from this kind of, I know it's not 2D Octopath Traveler, but it's a lot more free, and they just nail it. Like the feel and movement of everything, it's really, really good.
They definitely seem to rise to whatever challenges they put in front of themselves. I mean, even when you think back to Triangle Strategy, the fact that they made every level like a diorama that you could zoom out and like look for that from every possible angle, like so you can figure out what you're doing, where you're moving, that sort of thing. And then they've applied that to the action genre, and I know that, I mean, I think everyone has had a bit of burnout from the huge amount of HD-2D games we're getting in a short time span. I mean, this will be 4 within a couple of years between the 2 Dragon Quest games, Octopath and now Elliot.
Yeah.
But this is such a different animal compared to the other ones, and I really hope people give it a chance and just don't write it off as, oh, it's just another HD-2D game. It's like, this is something that's really quite fun, and it's not the same as all these other ones. If you're not into RPGs, give this a go, because you might fall in love with the art style, because you'll find yourself just like, I mean, they really do love, a bridge over water that pans out for you to have a look at it and go, oh, that's really pretty. But people
And
that
it
haven't
is.
had, yeah, but people that haven't had the opportunity to do that because of it not being linked to a genre that they're interested in, now's your chance. Like, give it a go. I think this will pleasantly surprise you.
Yeah, so many people are talking about, oh, we want a new 2D Zelda. Square Enix are putting it on a platter for you, and there's a free demo. Please go in and check it out. It's it's really, really cool stuff. But thank you, Paul, so much for joining me on this chat. It's really just nice to have another person to talk about this game, because, yeah, I've been not really thinking about much else since I booted up the demo yesterday after the Direct. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching to the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to, well, change the genre of that subscribe button or revive a dying 2D, I don't know where I'm going with this. Click that subscribe button, please. If you enjoyed this, that means so much to us. All right then, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix and Paul. No, you're not from Nintendo Life. Felix, Felix from Nintendo Life, out.